Inventive Africa in Kenya for the first time.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's my first time as well, and we're sitting in the C4D lab in the University of Nairobi with Dr. Tonny Omwansa. I hope I've
spelled
your name right.
You got it right.
The chairman of the the Nairobi Innovation Week. Thank you for hosting us briefly, and if you wouldn't mind, we'd ask you a couple of questions.
Yes, go ahead.
So you're the chairman of the Nairobi Innovation Week. Would you please tell us a little bit about it?
Well, thanks very much for having me around and having a chat about Nairobi Innovation Week. It's a concept that we started in 2015. So I remember writing during Christmas, scribbling something, of an idea of how we can start mobilizing stakeholders who are interested in innovation. And we define innovation in a very simple way: change that adds value. So we would like to see some kind of improvements, be it processes, be it products, be it ideas, and so on and so forth. So we call it Nairobi Innovation Week because we wanted everybody on board. And in this case, we look at government, development agencies, we look at private sector, civil society, media, and then there's the startup movement. Yeah? So we try to create value proposition for everyone. It's really tough, but somehow it works. So we've done it 3 times. We're going to be doing the 4th one in March, between the 5th and the 9th in Nairobi at the University of Nairobi grounds. We have a set of key things, like about 4 or 5 pillars here. So one is that there's an exhibition. So we get to have about 120 exhibitors who are showing different kinds of innovations that they've been working on. They could be corporates, they could be government agencies, they could be startups, they could be innovation enablers. There's a range. And that's the first pillar. The second pillar is, we've got these side events. So we have different organizations that organize side events that focus on specific areas of interest, and they've got their own stakeholders that they invite. And now we have 35 plus different side events that will happen on Monday and Tuesday of that Innovation Week. And the third pillar is a set of panel discussions that go into specific topics, blockchain, tell me, artificial intelligence, or sustainable development goals, and how innovation is meant to catalyze that. And then the last pillar we have there is startups. On the Friday, we will be having the 15 most promising startups pitching. So we have a very ambitious campaign right now of signing up 500 startups, and we're somewhere 250 or thereabout. By the end of this month, we will try to close that down, and then we'll try to select the 100 most promising. And then the 100 will pitch in the course of Nairobi Innovation Week. By the time we get to the Friday of the Innovation Week, we will have identified the 15 most promising in 3 categories. One will be growth stage, early stage, idea stage. And there will be a massive campaign for them to pitch with the audience of investors, audience of other students and other startups.
Amazing.
Try to catalyze and elevate the startup movement in Kenya.
And their startups from just Nairobi, or the entire Kenya, or outside as well?
Majority of them are from Kenya. Because everybody associates with Nairobi, and majority of those are from Nairobi because of logistical convenience. But we do have 1 or 2 from outside Kenya that have already been identified with the support of Africa Development Bank, from Uganda, from basically East African region, that is Ethiopia, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda. But dominantly, we currently have from Kenya.
But you would encourage still some of the startups from outside in East Africa to still sign up?
Absolutely. We've got some relationships with Finland, Norway, Israel, and somehow we're signing a few startups from there who are interested in this market. And the goal is that as we go forward over the years, we've got a vision up to 2025, and we're trying to grow different things as we go along. We hope by then we will be hosting 20,000 delegates.
And one of them hopefully is me.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe you. Yeah.
Well, you've said a lot, but why is it important? Why is it so important for Nairobi to have an innovation week?
Okay. So I think if we see innovation as an opportunity to add some value and create change, you got to catalyze it. You got to energize it. You got to make people talk. Networks play a very important role in innovation. Oh, the investor met the startup, or the startup met a partner, or the exhibitor met a customer, because we have very many good stories of people who have met during the Nairobi Innovation Week, and then the next thing you hear is, oh, I'm selling $1 billion XYZ, So for us, enabling networks and people to meet and then share and inspire each other and create new challenges, to us, that's a great accomplishment. Okay. Yeah.
And what are the main themes for this year? I mean, you mentioned the pillars. But
Yeah. So every year we have a theme. So the theme this year is innovating for a better tomorrow. Okay. So when we say innovating for a better tomorrow, for you it might mean something else than me. So academics tend to see it as how do we introduce better learning methods for the student. Development agencies tend to see a better socioeconomic well-being of society. So we've posed that challenge to different organizations and asked them, what is a better tomorrow for you? How will you measure, if you're a bank, how is a better tomorrow for you? They'll say, more customers, more business, and so on and so forth. So then from there, we ask them, okay, can you translate that to either a bootcamp, a hackathon, a workshop, a seminar, a training platform, a keynote speech, and so on and so forth. So we've got several themes, sub-themes that have emerged out of that. SDGs is one of them. Agripreneurship is another. Talent, music, artistic stuff is another pillar. Is another sub-theme. We've got innovations for youth and children because of the agencies like UNICEF and Barclays and so on and so forth. We've got commercialization of research, which has come from more the university kind of environment. We've got problem-based learning and design thinking as another sub-theme that has emerged, the relationship between universities. Yeah, so there's a blockchain is something also that emerged recently, and the demand keeps on coming, but then we have to put a break and say, now we have to focus on the few that we have.
There's always 2019.
There's always 2000. Correct.
Okay, so slightly off topic then, well on topic but off Nairobi Innovation Week. What do you think are the biggest trends in innovation in Africa this year? What's the most important couple of trends for innovation in Africa?
Okay, I think there's several layers. One is a policy level. So I think the government, for Kenya I would say, and I can see it in a number of African countries as well, governments beginning to set up frameworks to support innovation, which could be innovation agencies that then have resources that push into hubs and startups. Second, I've seen a lot of movement in growth of hubs. I think in 2 years ago, there were like 15 hubs. The other day I was checking, it's somewhere around 30. All right, so doubling in a year is a reflection
in Kenya
of growth.
That's
yes, in Kenya alone, right? In Kenya alone, and the good thing about Kenya is that the spread is also encouraging. We used to have a lot of hubs in Nairobi, but now you'll get hubs in Kisumu, in Mombasa, in Eldoret, in Nakuru, even in northeastern Kenya, where you would barely think that there would be a hub. So growth of hubs, I think, is the other thing is that I've seen universities embrace this initiative very well. I mean, traditionally most universities are teaching universities. But now you're starting to see a movement towards innovation universities where they try to make an agenda, both in institutional movements as well as student population. I think the other trend I'm seeing is local investors picking up. Traditionally, most investors will tell you, I want to buy property. I want to invest in a piece of land or a building or whatever. But now angel investor movement is starting to warm up, with organizations that are building capacity on that, and a lot of interest is emerging in that. And the culture, because startups were not necessarily very enthusiastic in getting investment. They believed they can grow. Now it's opening up, people are accepting that they need support. And to me, it's a few years, people are adapting very quickly that you will end up with a strong pool of startups and investors.
This final point is particularly interesting, and it's really encouraging to hear that local investors are pitching in. The trend in recent years has been looking for foreign investment all the time, and even that is a challenge because so many investors overseas are still concerned about investing in Africa or Kenya or wherever they're worried about the security risks. So the natural trend is to get the local guys investing. And even if it's not an awful lot of money, if it's crowdfunding invested for a cool idea, so that's encouraging. And I haven't noticed that. That's brilliant. Dr. Omwansa, thank you so much. Thanks. It's really a pleasure.
Thanks for having me, and wish you well.
Thank you.
I hope to see you at the Nairobi Innovation Week.
I hope to be there.